Target Trading Academy.
Good evening, everybody. Preston Vogl here with today's Micros Market Recap at Target Trading Academy. Apologies for last week with the sporadic uploads and days that weren't loaded. It was just a crazy day in the office and business life. But needless to say, not to worry. Today we've got our Micros Market Recap. Today is Monday, February 7th. It is just after 4 p.m. here. Let's start us off with micro oil. Now, we opened inside of Friday's range. Friday, we opened gap up, if you weren't aware, and made some new highs. But today, we opened, and the sellers wanted to bring it back down and potentially fill that void that was created between those 2 days on Thursday and Friday with it opening up, gap up. But we never got that done. We made some new lows for the day, tested the market opening lows, and then the seller stepped in again and just couldn't quite make it below after lunch. And we did open net or close net down for the day in oil. Handful of trending entries that were available to students. Now moving to gold. Not a ton happening in gold today. We had a lot more movement on Friday again. But today, in terms of what happened, it was pretty sideways for the most part. We opened at the top end of Friday's range and well above the close. Had some selling take place. Our levels holding for those entries on both directions the first time there. And remember, these areas are given out to our students each night for their trading endeavors so that they can put them on their respective charts that they use. But they definitely trended up today in gold and finished net positive for its day. Now, we just saw a crazy whip in the markets today, round trips happen at the close here in the ES. But for the most part, ES went sideways for a good portion of the morning. It did open in its range from Friday as well, same as the Nasdaq. Just talking about the ES though here. Friday again, we had a large range, a very large range, spread of our highs and lows. But we opened pretty much smack dab in the middle of that. I think really close to the close or on it, to be honest. And we made a run down. And then we kind of were just confined between this space for a very long time, testing the highs and lows, trying to break out in either direction, but just not really making any headway. It wasn't until after lunch where they really, or I'm sorry, just before lunch where they really started that move, and then they brought it back up during lunch to the high, made some new highs. And all these times, these levels are holding. I just want to point those out for our entries. And then they just turned it around, and within 20 minutes or so, brought it around 2/3 of its movement for the entire day. And then we made some new lows for the day. And then that last 5 minutes or so, they almost brought it back to the middle of today's spread of high and low. But we did finish technically net down on the day compared to Friday in the ES. Now, moving on to the Nasdaq here, similar story in terms of how it opened and responded, but obviously different price levels and such. But it was definitely more responsive than the Dow. If any of you watched the Dow just really was not making much room today. But it eventually moved a lot with that closing move that we saw on both the ES and Nasdaq. But getting back to the Nasdaq opening again, pretty much in the middle of its spread from Friday at the close or so, or near it, and then hitting these levels and holding them, and then it's just making that consolidated movement. It doesn't really seem that way in the Nasdaq just because of its volatility naturally, but it was testing those highs and then again the lows, and it just kept hitting those areas for a while before it finally breaks out to one end, as you see here before lunch, and then after a while it'll start to head up for a bit, And then again, like in the ES, the sellers come down here shortly and smack that thing down. As you can see, boom, just a ton of volume. You see the size of these bars. So we saw almost the same thing in terms of how it responded, but again, they're different markets. They have different levels of that we give our students for a reason. Those are all based off of the methodologies that are proprietary to Target Trading Academy. So if you're interested in finding out more information about how you can get these levels onto your charts the night before your trading endeavors, or interested in learning the methodologies around them and how you can trade using them, feel free to reach out to us. We are Target Trading Academy. You can find us on Facebook, join our page there, or go to our website at targettradingacademy.com. Get in touch with a representative at either Facebook or on the website, and they'll gladly show you the ropes, and you'll quickly see why we are the #1 trading education company in the world and why we have so many live profitable students in our rooms each day. We look forward to seeing you there.